If you are looking for a personal line of credit with bad credit, no bank account, I want you to really watch this show from beginning to end because I want to share with you a few tips to really boost your chances of being approved. Okay, so we are speaking about you wanting a personal line of credit, but you have bad credit and you do not have a bank account. Okay, let me first give you an overview here. So if you think about a line of credit, you are speaking about a very special credit product. This is not a loan. This is not a credit card. This is something in between. I mean, a line of credit is basically a mixture, if you will, a mixture of credit card and loan. In other words, this is a type of revolving credit. Okay, so this is an amount of money extended to you by a financial institution, such as a bank, a credit union, or an alternative lender. Okay, and then you can draw from that line of credit. You can draw from it as much as needed. Okay, so the big difference between a line of credit and a loan is that you can draw up you can draw up any amount up to a certain limit at any time. Okay, instead of receiving a lump sum that you gradually pay off as you would with a loan. Okay, so if you are, let's say, if you get a 10,000 personal line of credit with no bank account, for instance, you are basically are able to draw up to $10,000 in multiple instances. But if you were to get a loan, you probably just get a 10 grand at once. Okay. Now it's really important to understand that these characteristics of revolving line of credit is important because it just means that when you draw and you repay whatever you draw, you replenish the line of credit. Okay, and it doesn't matter whether you have a bank account or you have good credit or bad credit. If you, as long as you're able to repay whatever you have drawn from the line of credit, the balance will replenish itself. Okay. Now, if you don't have a bank account, things can be a little complicated. But I'll explain to you how to go around that. Things will be a little complicated because the lender that gives you the line of credit, they need to wire the money to a certain institution, or you can also open an account with them. Okay, you can open an account with them and then get the money from them. So if you're trying to get a personal line of credit with no bank account and you have bad credit, the first thing you need to do here is to really find out what kind of line of credit you really need, because maybe what you need is a home equity line of credit. I mean, if you happen to have a house and you're trying to really get some money out of the house equity, then it's just better to go for a home equity line of credit as opposed to a personal line of credit. I mean, chances are, if you have a house, if you are a homeowner, you probably have a bank account. That's definitely what it is. So chances are, if you have a house, instead of getting a line of credit, you can go get a HELOC. But I'm just giving you this example because there are instances where what you think is actually the right path may not be the right path. Okay, you might be thinking, well, a personal line of credit is better for my situation, but when you really sit down and analyze things from top to bottom, you realize, hey, listen, it's just better for me to get a home equity line of credit, a HELOC. Okay, or if you have a business, I mean, if you have a business, again, you don't need to have a big business. If you have a one person business, like a single member LLC, is still considered a business. So if you have a business, you can tap into a business line of credit. Okay, there are institutions out there that will really lend to you. They will give you a line of credit, a business line of credit, if you are able to justify your cash inflows versus cash outflows. In other words, the business is generating enough revenue to really justify you taking out enough. I mean, getting a business line of credit. Okay, so as long as you are able to let's say stabilize your cash inflows and cash outflows and really show the lender that you are in a position to repay back whatever you draw from the business line of credit, you can still be approved. So the bottom line is what? The bottom here is that the first hack I want you to remember is that if you're trying to get a no personal bank account, personal line of credit for bad credit, make sure you choose the line of credit that you really need in the first place. There are different types of lines of credit, and you want to make sure that you are getting the one that's suitable for your specific situation. Okay. especially if you want a lot of cash, if you want a larger line of credit amount. If you are trying to get a business, I mean, if you're trying to get a personal line of credit with bad credit and you have no bank account, you have to remember that there are certain risks and benefits to this product. And the reason why I want you to really understand that is because the lender, when analyzing your line of credit application, they're thinking about how to make sure they can cover their back. It's all about risk mitigation. So if you want to boost your chances of being approved, you need to understand how the lender thinks from their side, their point of view. Okay, so you have to understand that basically the lender is making sure that you are able to pay not only the principal amount that you draw from the line of credit, but you also can pay the interest because a line of credit does have interest attached to it. So you have an APR to really account for. So for instance, if you get approved for a 10 grand line of credit and you draw, let's say, a $1,000, basically the interest is being calculated right away as soon as you draw the money from that line of credit. Okay, which means when you repay the balance, you're not paying $1,000 back. You're paying probably 1,100 or 1,200, depending on the APR that you got in the first place. Okay, and that's important for the lender because the lender just wants to make sure you can pay back interest and principal. So that's the first thing. You need to show the lender that you have enough cash inflows coming in, okay, to be able to repay the loan amount. That's number one. Number two, the lender has to make sure that you are basically like your credit. Even if you have bad credit, you don't really have like really, really, really bad credit. In other words, why was your credit bad in the first place? What kind of event led to you having bad credit? Because there are situations where a bad credit score can be quote unquote worse than another bad credit score. Let me explain. If you got your bad credit score because you filed for bankruptcy, you don't have the same scenario as if you just had a low credit score because you missed a couple of payments, right? Bankruptcy in this case actually is a much more serious quote unquote offense than missing a few payments here and there. So the lender is constantly analyzing, they're constantly doing the pros and cons, they're constantly contrasting and comparing what kind of situations have led you to having a bad credit in the first place. Okay, the most important thing when it comes to getting a personal line of credit for bad credit with no bank account is to really, really show that you are working, and that you have sources of revenue, and that you have ways to park that revenue somewhere. Okay, so the first thing I want you to really understand here is that if you want to qualify for a line of credit for a bad credit with no personal bank account, you first need to understand that the uh, the lender will have credit score and income requirements. Okay, here we're not even talking about bank accounts anymore. We're not talking about you having a checking account or a savings account. We're not talking about you having any of that. The lender probably has some criteria, some minimum criteria, okay, basic criteria that they want all applicants to actually comply with. So this could be minimum credit score of 500 or 300 or 350 or 400. And they want you to make, let's say, maybe this is an example though. They want you to make $1,000 gross every single month. So they want you to make 12 grand a minimum a year. So whatever it is, make sure that you are comfortable with the minimum requirements in terms of credit score and income that the lender has put in place. Okay, that's going to really increase your chances of approval. There are a lot of online lenders out there that will actually give you a line of credit for bad credit with no bank account. I mean, regular banks will never do that. Credit unions will never do that. But you do have let's say what I call alternative lenders and online lenders that and they will take care of you. Okay, so that's important. But they also have credit score and income requirements. So it's all about making sure that you can actually fit the basic requirements. Okay, so that's what I would that that was that's part of what I was telling you a little earlier. That when you say you have bad credit, How bad is your credit? How bad is your credit score? How low is it, right? Because are you at 300, or are at 500, or are you at 579, for instance? Because even 578, 579 is considered is considered bad credit. Okay, so bad credit has several layers. There are several layers of bad credit. Okay, some bad credits is quote unquote again worse than other bad credits. The next thing you want to do, if you are trying to get, if you have bad credit and you are looking for a no bank account personal line of credit, is to actually shop around. I've said this before, but I want to reiterate it. The thing is that simply because you have bad credit is not going to disqualify you from getting a line of credit. Simply because you have a no bank account is not going to disqualify you from getting a line of credit. Okay, the thing is that there are lenders out there for all kinds of applicants, and lenders will understand your situation if you're able to let them know how you want to tap into the money. See, the whole thing is that once you are approved for the line of credit, where would they deposit the money, and how would you access it? Now, of course, there are ways to actually access the money. For instance, through a prepaid cards, through debit cards. Okay, so there are ways to actually have that, to actually tap into the cash without having a bank account. Maybe you have you have a telecheck problem. You have a check systems problem. You have an early warning problems. Okay, so you can't really open a bank account now, but you have to really solve the situation. You have to solve the situation where you are able to understand where they will send the money to. But the most important thing is to actually do some research. Okay, you want to shop around. You want to shop around, make sure that you have the right lender who understands your situation and who is willing to work with you on your situation. Like I said before, big banks, traditional banks are not going to work with you, not at all. Because first of all, they are banks, and if you say you have no bank account, big question is they'll ask you, what are you waiting for? You can open an account with us, right? So banks and credit unions are not going to work with you. They're not going to work with you. I have an entire show actually focused on those personal line of credits, bad credit, the list of the online lenders that will actually lend you money if you have bad credit and you have no bank account. So shop around. Most of the time, those online lenders and alternative lenders, they will allow you to pre-qualify for their line of credit. So instead of checking your credit right away, they will do a soft pull to see how much you can qualify for before actually, and they will make you an offer before they actually do a hard pull. So if you are trying to get a personal line of credit for bad credit with no bank account, you need to apply for the line of credit. Actually, you have to apply in earnest. You have to apply like for real, right? It's one of those things where, but when I say apply, the application process is pretty straightforward because chances are you are going to apply online. You are going to apply with an alternative lender. That's number one. Number two, just make sure that you pay attention to the timing. The timing will be very important because maybe you working and or maybe you don't have a full-time job, you have a part-time job, or maybe your revenue actually goes in cycles. Your revenue fluctuates in cycles. Okay, so you want to wait for the time when your revenue is kind of high to apply because you want to maximize your chances of approval, right? You want to maximize your chances of a higher cash inflow. So the timing is important. Or maybe you want your FICO score to go up a little bit. I mean, you'll find that you have a bad credit, but you just want it to be a little better than it was maybe 1 month ago or than it was 2 months ago. So bottom line is what? The bottom line here is that you have to understand the best situation for you to actually apply for a line of credit. Okay. And so after shopping around, after testing different lenders, after seeing which one will be suitable for you, pay attention to the timing. And the timing is also important because some lenders actually run promos every now and then. Like they will say they will give you a lower APR if you apply within a certain window. So maybe it's your chance to actually apply and get a lower APR. Okay, so timing is really important. And but see, everything that I'm telling you, you can actually clarify that if you do a soft pull, because a soft pull actually is no commitment process. Okay, you don't lose anything, because even a soft pull is not going to take a few points off your credit score, so you don't lose anything. It's a no commitment thing. Okay, but if you like what you're offered, if you like what you're hearing, if you like what kind of solicitation you receive, if you like that, then you can just go ahead and really apply for real. So if you want to really get a personal line of credit, no bank account with bad credit, make sure that you have like you use, if you get one line of credit, use it properly, because the way you like your usage history is going to actually is going to predetermine your success odds in the future. Like, let's say you want to apply again and again and again. If you want to be approved, it's just important for you to know how to really use the line of credit that you actually got approved for in the first place. Okay, the reason is that if you have no bank account, the lender has no history, so they have to rely on prepaid debit cards. They have to rely on alternative, let's say, platforms to see what kind of line of credit borrower you are. So you have to use the funds properly. So if you are looking for a line of credit, let's say to renovate your house, to go on vacation, to to invest in something, to actually cover the cost associated with a wedding. I mean, whatever it is, make sure that you are able to document those expenses, because without a bank account, you need to be really organized to show the lender that you are going to use the cash properly. Okay, and the reason is that if you are able to do a good job at the record keeping, next time the lender is going to trust you. They're going to trust you again and again and again. It's all about your reputation. And at this point, we're not even talking about your credit score anymore. We're talking about your ability to pay whatever you tapped into. If you tap into like 5 grand out of 10 grand, you are able to repay whatever you tapped into. So your revenue plays an important role. Your repayment history plays an important role. Your ability to actually use the funds responsibly plays an important role. So that's what you need to focus on if you are trying to really get approved this year for a personal line of credit for a bad credit with no bank account. So, in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about no bank account, personal line of credit for bad credit. How do you get it? I give you the overview, I give you the steps, and now the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.